Hello and welcome back to Attiny85. In this video, I'm going to show you to make a very relaxing and very mesmerizing mood cube with using an Attiny85 microcontroller. Let's get started. And these are the items that you're going to need to make for this project. The items you're going to need is an RGB LED common cathode, an Attiny85 microcontroller, an 8-pin IC socket holder, a push-button lock switch, a perf board, a 3-volt button cell battery, a 3-volt button cell battery holder, and 8 neodymium magnets. And you're also going to need some wire. Now let's go ahead and assemble this project, and let's get started. I have right here this RGB LED, and when I light it up, it makes this focus point of light. This focus point of light isn't good for this project because it will focus the light in the center of the cube. I need the LED light to disperse more evenly so it lights up the whole entire cube. And to do that, I'm going to take these clippers and cut off the tip of the LED. Doing that will remove the lens on the end of the LED and will allow the LED light to disperse more evenly. Having a flat top will cause more light to spread out. Having a curved top will cause a focused lens effect, which will cause the LED light to be more concentrated. And there, it should look just like this. A very important note to know is if you cut the LED tip too low, it won't work. So you need to cut the tip a little bit closer to the top. Cut it again. Cut off the sides so it's a little bit more flat and smooth. And now let's test it out again. And as you can see, it now works. Perfect. Now looking at the LED light, the LED light's now more dispersed compared to a non-cut LED, and you can see the LED light's more focused. Next, I'm going to 3D print the housing, and while it's printing, I'm going to create the circuit. First, I'm going to take the 8-pin IC socket holder and place it onto the perf board, just like this. Clamp it down. Solder in the first pin. Remove the clamp. Press down on the IC socket holder and remelt the solder so that way it can be flush with the board. As you can see, not very even, so I need to repeat the same process on the opposite side. There we go. The IC socket holder is now flush with the board. Perfect. Now solder in the rest of the pins. Next, I want to take the RGB LED and I want to connect all of the anodes to pin 5, 6, and 7 and connect the cathode to pin 4. I'm going to take the cathode, put it in this corner so it's separate from the anodes, and then place the anodes into place, just like this. Don't push the LED all the way through because I want the LED light to disperse much evenly inside the cube. And now solder it into place. Next, I'm going to take the first anode and place it onto pin 5. Cut off the excess. Solder bridge it to pin 5. And now take the third anode and place it over to pin 7. Cut off the excess, and now solder bridge it to pin 7. And now take the second anode and place it over to pin 6. Carefully cut off the excess, and carefully solder bridge it into place. Put a very light amount of solder so you don't cross bridges. Next, I'm going to bend the cathode lead in this direction, and then carefully bend it into an angle. Solder tin it. And now take a bridge wire and solder it to the tip, and then solder the bridge wire to the pin 4. And now solder the bridge wire to the tip. And now bend over the bridge wire to pin 4, and then solder it to pin 4. Take 2 jumper wires and the 3-volt button cell battery. Take one jumper wire, connect it to pin 4, which will be negative, and connect it to the negative of the 3-volt button cell battery. Another jumper wire to the positive of the 3-volt button cell battery, and then touch that jumper cable to all of the anodes. And as you can see, the red works, but it looks a little bit yellow. That's because it's connected to green. Alright, so I need to make sure those are separated, but the blue works, that's good. The red and green are now connected, so I need to separate those two by remelting the solder. This is exactly why I said be careful when you put the solder, don't put a heavy amount. Putting a heavy amount will cause the two bridges to connect together. As you can see, I placed too much solder, so I need to remove some of the solder. Remelt it, reposition that anode, clamp it down, and there. Now I'm going to lightly put some solder onto the pin 5. And then repeat the test. Red works. Green works, good. And then blue still works, perfect. All of the pins are now separated and everything works. Next, I'm going to place the push button lock switch over to pin 8. Bend over the leads. And bend that lead over to pin 8. And now solder it into place. Remelt the solder so it's flush with the board. And now solder bridge it to pin 8. Next, I'm going to take the 3-volt button cell battery holder. This side's positive, this side's negative, and I want to connect the positive over to the push button lock switch. Place it in just like this. Solder it into place. And then solder in the positive pin, and then solder bridge it to the push button lock switch. And there, the positive is now soldered to the push button lock switch. Next, I'm going to take this negative wire, solder it over to pin 4, and then solder the wire over to the negative terminal of the 3-volt button cell battery holder. Connect it to the negative, just like this, and then connect it to pin 4, just like this. And now, take the Attiny85 microcontroller and place it into the IC socket holder. And now connect the 3-volt button cell battery. And there, the circuit is now complete. Now, let's go test it out. And there, it works. And down in the description below, I have the code to the Attiny85 microcontroller, so then that way you can make the RGB LED glow like this. And now finally, the 3D print is now done. And this right here is the housing for this project. I have some neodymium magnets, and I want to connect them to these 3D printed pieces. So I'm going to take a little bit of super glue, glue down on the piece, spray some activator, and quickly place the magnet on top. Carefully. Very difficult to do it on a magnetic surface. There we go, connect them together just like this. Perfect. I want to place the neodymium magnets onto the corner just like this, and I want to make sure the top of the second magnet is flush with the rim, but slightly above, not much, just a little above. Put a little bit of super glue onto the corner, spray some activator, and now carefully place the neodymium magnets onto the corner. And there we go, she'll look just like this. Repeat the same process with the second magnet. And there we go, she'll look just like this. And now what I want to do is I want to place a little bit of super glue on the second magnets, and then take this top housing and place it on top. Wait a little bit, and then that way the glue will stick to the top housing, and it should be able to remove very easily. Place it on top, just like this. Wait about 10 seconds, and then remove the top. And there, and as you can see, the neodymium magnet stuck to the lid, and now I can be able to close this lid easily without the lid removing. Reconnect it just like that, and there, now I can open and close very easily. Place the circuit inside, and when you want to turn it on and off, just open the lid and place the circuit in and out, and push the button, and there, you have your RGB LED mood cube. Now, let's go ahead and make a test, and let's see how this looks in the dark. As you can see, this looks very relaxing and very mesmerizing. Makes a very beautiful, relaxing nightlight. Remove the lid, and you can see it looks just like this. And you can see how the LED light disperses very well inside. Now if I want to turn it off, I just push the button. Or take it out and push the button. And the way I designed this project is that you can easily remove the circuit and replace the old battery with a new one. And there you have it. Now you know how to make your very own mood cube with using an Attiny85 microcontroller and an RGB LED. And there you have it. Thank you for watching SciTech. I hope you learned something new, and don't forget to like and subscribe, and of course click on the bell icon to be notified for future SciTech videos. Till the next tech, goodbye.